When Sophia finally stumbled through the door that night, the clock had already crept past midnight. A cloud of perfume mingled with the faint trace of alcohol, clinging stubbornly to her clothes as if daring me to question it. She barely glanced in my direction, tossing her handbag onto the couch before kicking off her heels. With a sly smile, she said, "You should be thankful I even came home." I froze, her words ricocheting in my head like gunshots. Thankful? For what? For being treated like a stranger in my own marriage? For pretending not to see the lipstick smears on her blouse, shades that were definitely not her own? I swallowed the heat rising in my chest, forcing myself to remember the promises we once whispered in the dark. The nights we drifted to sleep with our fingers intertwined, painting dreams of a future we'd build together. But those memories felt like they belonged to another lifetime. All that remained now was suspicion, silence, and a wife who seemed more devoted to her late nights than to the man waiting at home. Sophia strutted into the kitchen, poured herself a glass of water, and carried on as though nothing was amiss. She didn't ask about my day. She didn't notice the dinner I had prepared hours earlier, still sitting untouched and cold on the table. Her eyes flicked over it briefly before she chuckled under her breath and muttered, "You really shouldn't waste your time waiting up." My fists tightened beneath the table. Every late return, every dismissive smirk, every excuse had stacked up like bricks, building an unscalable wall between us. And now she had the audacity to mock me for caring. Her phone buzzed on the counter. The name Michael lit up the screen. She snatched it up instantly, too fast, her smirk faltering for just a heartbeat before she walked away. That was the moment my patience snapped. I rose to my feet, my voice calm, yet sharp as steel. "Why should I be grateful, Sophia? You don't even live here anymore." She stopped mid-step, slowly turning back, her eyes narrowing like she couldn't believe what she'd heard. But I meant every word. This wasn't just another argument. This was the end of pretending. Her jaw tightened, but she forced out a shaky laugh, the kind someone gives when they're caught off guard and scrambling to regain control. "What's that supposed to mean, David?" she asked, tilting her head, as though I was the one being unreasonable. I met her stare without flinching. "This isn't your home anymore," I said. "You treat it like a stopover, checking in, checking out whenever it suits you. No respect, no care. And I'm done." For the first time in months, panic flashed across her face. She set the glass down harder than she intended. Water sloshed over the rim. "Don't be ridiculous," she snapped. "You're blowing this out of proportion. I'm just exhausted." I didn't buy it. Not after weeks of excuses, the cold distance in bed, the sudden busyness whenever I suggested we spend time together. Not after watching her phone light up nightly with messages she'd hide before I could even look. I stepped forward until I was close enough that my voice dropped to a harsh whisper. "Tired people don't come home smelling like someone else's cologne." Her complexion went pale. She tried to scoff, but the sound broke halfway through. "You're paranoid, David. You always make things worse." I shook my head. "No, Sophia. I've been unraveling myself for years, trying to please you, to swallow the lies, to hold on to something that no longer existed. Tonight, you made one thing clear. When you told me to be grateful you'd come home, you told me everything I needed to know." She crossed her arms, but her hands were shaking. "So what? You expect me to throw you out after everything we've built?" she said. I barked a bitter laugh. "Everything we built? Sophia, you dismantled it piece by piece. I've been living among the wreckage." She had no slick comeback this time. The silence between us thickened with unspoken realities. Her phone buzzed again, the same name lighting the screen. "Michael." She glanced at it, then back at me, and the battle raging behind her eyes was obvious. That was the last straw. I pointed to the front door. "Go to him," I said. "You already left me tonight. You only made it official." Her mouth opened, but no words followed. For the first time in a long while, I felt my chest grow lighter. Sophia's gaze flicked to the doorway, then returned to me, torn between staying and running. For years, she'd wielded power over this house. Her moods set the tone. Her silence punished me. Her rare kindness kept me begging. Now everything had flipped. "You don't mean that," she breathed, voice suddenly soft, almost pleading. David, we can fix this. I shook my head slowly. No, Sophia. You can't repair what you never valued. I begged for truth, for closeness, for respect. You gave me lies, weak excuses, and that smug grin when you slipped in after midnight. That isn't marriage. It's cruelty. Tears filled her eyes, but I didn't trust them anymore. I'd seen those tears before, convenient, rehearsed, always appearing when she needed forgiveness. Tonight, they didn't move me. I unlocked my phone and showed her the message thread I'd already found. Her late-night rendezvous, promises to Michael about leaving soon. Her gasp echoed like a gunshot. You went through my phone? She demanded, face flushing with anger. I shrugged, a small, cold smile on my lips. No, Sophia. He sent me screenshots. Apparently your lover has more respect than you ever showed me. The color drained from her cheeks. She stepped back, composure crumbling. For once, she didn't have the upper hand. I drew in a slow breath and felt years of resentment begin to unwind. You told me to be grateful you came home tonight, I said. You were right. I am grateful. Grateful that your arrogance finally opened my eyes. You don't live here anymore, Sophia. You never did. This house, this life, it's mine now, and I'm taking it back. She stood frozen, the weight of what she'd done pressing down on her like chains. I walked past her, opened the front door wide, and held it there. Go, I said simply. She left without another word or excuse. When the door closed behind her, the silence that remained felt different, lighter, freer. For the first time in years, I could breathe. The scars would remain, but one truth settled in me like a steady rock. That night, I hadn't lost a wife. I had finally reclaimed my life.